Hey y'all, it's Renegade, and we're back with yet another double dose of reality as we continue on with episode 8 of Canada's Drag Race Season 5. We'll dive into the second half of the season premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17. But before I go off, Queens, let's welcome my co-host. Is he Cake? No, it's QuackkrJack. Jack, how you feeling things about all things Drag Race this week?
I love that we're finally at the end of the kind of like fakeness of the start of season 17 of Drag Race. I'm loving that we're getting to this beautiful ending of Canada. It feels very correct. Everything is kind of like going at the right speed. I mean, next week we kind of get the first real episode of Drag Race, and we also get the final episode of Canada's Drag Race. So I think we're at a really good spot right now where we can shift all our attention onto something else.
Mhm. Yeah, it feels like we're kind of at the even though the year just started, we're kind of at the end of something that we've been enjoying here. We're at the start of something new that we're hopefully going to enjoy here. I have a little asterisk there just based on some shenanigans that kind of happened here at the end of the episode that we'll get into. But before we get into all of that, y'all, make sure you like and subscribe for more future content because we'll definitely have a lot of stuff coming on here over the next few weeks. As well as the fact that we will begin crowning our first queen of 2025 on Canada's Drag Race 5. So let's go and talk about the final 5 episode just really quick and just go ahead and get right into things right away because I kind of felt like this week is, I'm kind of going back and forth on how I kind of felt about this challenge because while I feel like we got to know the queens a lot in this episode, I'm not sure if I really got anything out of the challenge specifically, which was supposed to be like, more of like a get to know you challenge. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I learned from the queens outside of it was from a lot of the workroom conversations, but for me, I felt like we got a really good idea on who these 5 queens kind of are. And in a lot of ways, it didn't really feel like the What Just Happened late night show that they competed on was the true challenge. It kind of felt like this was just like a way for them to kind of make a determination on, kind of their track record all season long versus what actually happened in the challenge. Because I thought everybody did really well in the challenge. So I'm still a little confused what they were judging on. What were your thoughts here kind of on the whole format of this week? Did you like it, or did you hope there was maybe more of a purpose to the challenge?
Okay, so I think this is one of those weird, like, we're trying it kind of challenges. I mean, we've seen interview challenges like this as a group before. I don't think we've ever had a successful, like, it felt correct kind of challenge where everyone was a group. I really do enjoy an interview challenge, whether they are interviewing someone else or whether they're being interviewed themselves. I really enjoyed them being interviewed this week. I love that we saw a lot of them playing off of each other, but unfortunately, it became very difficult to just decide who did the worst, who did the best. And it kind of came down to less of who did the best and more down of like, or actually maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it wasn't who did the worst. It's just who did the best, and from there let's pick based on like the other criteria. Because I think I gotta be honest, I do think that this was an easy way for them to put the 2 girls they wanted in the bottom based on track record. Which, to be fair, that's pretty much what they do a lot of the times on makeover challenges. Which is this is kind of what it's substituting in place of. So honestly, can I say anything real negative about this challenge? Not really, knowing that the comparison doesn't really matter too much either. So it's pretty the same. But I did enjoy this one more, you know? I really enjoyed hearing the girls talk. I loved their little acting thing they had going on, redoing like the season 3 untucked moments. And what was it, season 4?
Season 3, yeah.
It was season 3.
Fierce.
Okay.
Helena doing her fierce voice. That was pretty funny. That was pretty
Oh
good. I won't
yes, yes, so iconic. And I have to say, I agree with all the decisions made at the end of it, including if we're taking the runway into consideration too. I think all of the correct choices were made this week. I think that we got down to the top 4 we were kind of looking towards this season, and like what the season had really been pushing us towards anyways. Though it was fun to learn more about these different queens and a couple of them backstories like Perla that I don't think we ever would have gotten in a challenge that we got in the workroom. So you're right, like we learned a lot about the girls in the workroom more than the challenge, but there was a lot of fun moments in the challenge as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of stand-up moments. It was just for me, it lacked a clear true concept of what it was that they would actually be kind of graded on. Because I mean, we're going from one moment to having blocks being shady about like who's like the least fashionable, and then we're jumping over to some heartfelt moments and crying over videos. Which side note, Minnie's brother, super hot. Call me. Um, I was just there was just a lot of going on, like the acting challenge part. There was just it felt like it was just a way for them to be like, okay, what's the things that maybe we didn't touch on in certain challenges? Let's just throw them all into this challenge and just kind of see how it goes. And like it was fun. Like I had a good time with it. But again, it definitely as far as like other interview challenge goes, I do kind of wish that there was gonna maybe a clear point or maybe something in the lines of maybe season 16's at the final four when they did the stupid book challenge thing, because even though it wasn't a real book, they were still filling it with like their own stories and their own experiences, and we still kind of really got to know them in a different way that I think we could have really got to know like a lot of the side stories that we saw in the workroom here, like about Virgo's backstory with everything that she's been through. Things like that could have definitely been expounded upon in the actual challenge, and I think it would have allowed the judges to kind of get to know them a little better too. But you know, it wasn't bad for I guess what it was. You're right. Um, as far as again, let's the top two, the or sorry, the top three, the winner. The winning game to Helena this week here, and then it seemed like Minnie and Virgo were safe, and our bottom two were Perla and Michaela. Again, the two with the worst track record here. Again, I think it's fair. I would agree with it. Jack, sounds like you kind of agree with it as well here too. As far as everything
Yeah.
goes.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think the other three kind of have snatched up their like spots in the finale, and the other two I think really did need to fight for it at this point.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think what it might come down to, though, which is interesting enough, because when it came down to I mean, this lip sync, actually, I want to talk about the lip sync really quick, too. Um, I initially was kind of like, oh, they're doing a pop punk song on the show. I'm not sure how I feel. Tell me why I kind of want them
Mhm.
to do so many more pop punk songs moving forward, because this was maybe maybe my favorite lip sync of the season. I don't know about you, but Michaela destroyed this lip sync. I could watch this over and over just for her, and I completely forgot about Perla. And I do love that
I felt
completely egregious shot that they did of her doing the back bend where they just focused on her for like 8 minutes in the middle of the song. It's just like, okay, Perla, or hi Perla. I don't even, she didn't even get to sashay away. They just edited her out of the season. Sorry. I just love this lip sync. Jack, were you as big a fan as I was?
I was a big fan of the lip sync. I think we definitely saw whose wheelhouse it was in, and Michaela did an excellent job. I felt kind of bad for Perla. She's had such an interesting edit this season, from being possibly the first girl to go home to getting a win after being saved to ending up back in the bottom, and then having, for some reason, ending up in the bottom during the lip sync challenge instead of, having the rightful bottom three there, and then it was such a weird run for her this season. And so it kind of feels bad because there's a lot of times where I'm looking at it, I'm like, some of these situations, had this happened just slightly differently, or had they not rigged it for someone specifically to make it through this challenge without any issue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we could have seen things go differently, but she definitely did not win this lip sync. So, based on that alone, she was rightfully eliminated. I also think she might have had the least successful runway. I don't want to say bad because I don't think anyone had a bad runway this week, actually. In Canada, let me say in Canada, because we'll
Oh
get to
no,
it as later.
did you not think it was a bust? Were you like Brooklyn? Because I was like TS, I was like, I love this. I love what she did. But you're right, all five of these looks were really good. I'm honestly having a really hard time like putting them in an order. I don't know if Perla's would be my least favorite, but it might be like third or fourth. I don't know.
So
They're all really
I
good,
didn't
honestly.
know what a bust was, and I had my friend explain to me during the episode what she was, because I was like, Yeah, her outfit does look kind of rigid and it does look statuesque. I get it. And they're like, she's a bust. And I was like, oh, I wouldn't say she's busted, girl. And we had this moment of me finding out what a bust was. I was like, oh, just like one of those statues. And I said to her, I said, you know what? I just think if maybe her bottom part had presented more as a column, then I would have seen it more. But overall, I really enjoyed the outfit.
I think so.
It's
She had
just,
the risk of running like remember Maggie in Espana 4 during the headdress outfit runway where she came out as like the stand, and then she had that little hole or the little tube that she was walking in. Like imagine Perla having to do that
yeah.
and then she has to lip sync in that. Like why do you think Maggie went home? Because of that
Well, no,
tube.
I
So
mean, to be
I get
fair,
why she went with something a little bit more sleek, that more pants like, but it still kind of looked like I saw a bust personally. I really liked it.
I I didn't, girl. I saw it afterwards, but if I need it explained, then
But you
it
didn't know what a
didn't go
bust
as
was to
successful.
begin with, so
Well, but I knew what like a half statue was. I just didn't know the name for a bust, right? Like I knew what that half statue, like your shoulders up kind of thing was, but I was like, girl, that's the eh. I wasn't feeling it like that. I said
Mhm.
to myself, it could have been better.
Well, who was your favorite then? I'm guessing. I think I already know, but who was your favorite?
I think my favorite is everyone else's favorite. And if it wasn't your favorite, I don't want to say you're wrong, but you are wrong. It was Helena, obviously. Helena had the easiest, best outfit of this week. Shit, maybe the best outfit of the whole season, honestly. Like, I loved this outfit. Like, the textures of everything. The girl looked like she was actually stoned. Like, when they said she had the best makeup skills of the season, they were not lying, girl, because although my friend did not like her wig, I thought it added a layer of it looking like it was kind of chipping a bit, like how statues do. I was living for every little piece of that. I gave it a shoot, baby. I was like out of my seat, gagged for this moment. Like I was loving Helena. I think she's brought it to the runway like every single week, and I think this is just another moment of her really stepping up and excelling in Drag Race. I honestly think she's done a great job, and this look is got to be top three for me at least of the season. I can't think of all the looks off the top of my head, but when we go back, I can guarantee you this will be my top three at least.
You know what, Jack? I'm shocked because I actually kind of agree with you. I really liked this look. This was easily my favorite of the week too. Everybody else, I just I wish they kind of went a little bit more. I guess literal. Just because Helena just showed just sometimes it's just easier just to just do the damn thing and just come out what it's supposed to be. As we're gonna kind of see in uh, season 17 a little bit later here. Sometimes if you try to go like too conceptual or too outside the box, it won't make no sense. So it's like sometimes it's just so much easier to just do what you need to do and just we're dumb. Just feed us something easy, okay? And I'm just like, Helena did that, and then some. And this look is so good, and the makeup too on point. I think this is the most cohesive I've seen Helena do her. The more creative makeup that she's had, along with the look. Working as well too, because some other times where she's done the makeup, like I'd say, like the alien look, I'd say like it was a great makeup look, but I didn't necessarily like the garment as much. Here for me, everything works entirely 100% here. Also want to do a special shout out for Minnie because I thought she looked gorgeous. And I also really liked Michaela's take on it, doing the Egyptian route. I personally really liked her route as well too. I just wish she went with a different wig. I didn't really like the wig with it. um, do you have anything else to quick say about the other looks of the week here for anybody else?
Yes, let me just follow up your mini statement with so good. That wig, baby. If we ever do like a RuPaul's Drag Race like museum, that wig needs to be featured. Like I remember when Derek Barry said on season 8 when he was like, I think this outfit would go into like the museum. I wouldn't be surprised if they asked for it. I was like, bitch, what? I saw Minnie's wig and I said, that is perfection. I couldn't see anything wrong with it. I was like getting so much life off that alone. And I didn't know about the big shrimp statue, but when they showed the picture girl, I was like, I'm gagged because I was like, maybe if my dumbass was more cultured, I would have known. But I lived for it. I loved it. I couldn't say enough good things. I liked Michaela's look. I loved her look at it. My biggest issue with the wig was not the orange color or the size of the wig. My biggest issue was that there was black leading into the orange, and I really wanted it to just be all pure orange. I was because I loved that whole contrast of the blue and the orange, the complementary color thing. Like, I was really living for it when she took it off for the lip sync and whatnot.
Oh, girl, I live for
Personally,
orange and blue. They were my school colors, but I didn't really like
oh,
necessarily it on her.
I just I just thought
At the
with
moment.
Michaela's
Oh no, just maybe like
well,
the shades of the two.
uh they were both very bold. I think that's what I really loved about them. But I think what Michaela's I liked her outfit. I just wish it had been more detailed around. I think I just wanted more details, but she looked fantastic. I loved the headpiece, obviously, as well, and her staff. It was everything. And I think Virgo did a great job here. I just think that her look was just less stated. We're at the final five, there's nowhere to hide or nowhere to like look around. Like we see everything now, especially on the runway. And I thought her look was beautiful. I just felt like it didn't stand out as much to me as like a lot of the other looks did. Then again, I still ranked her just slightly above Perla's, but I mean, I think that everyone did a great job on this runway. I don't think there was any bad runway. I just think, again, it's like the challenge. There were just some that slightly succeeded more than others, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
Helena won both the challenge and the runway, and I was so glad to see her get her first win. I think she has one of the best records on the season. I know she technically had one bottom three placement. I don't count it like that because she was set up to fail with that bullshit choreography, and even so, she never made it to the bottom two. She did well at every single challenge. She's one of the only queens that I've seen really show up to every single challenge. And it's surprising to see a couple of the girls like that this season, like Minnie as well. Minnie has done well in every single challenge. The only time that I've really seen Minnie struggle was, of course, you know, in the lip syncing challenge, but she wasn't in the bottom because her team won. Had she, not had her team won, that definitely a case to be made there, but that's not the case here. So it's interesting. We have two queens who have never hit the bottom going into the top two. I don't know how often we have that.
Well, if we were to narrow this down to a top two, because I feel like the last couple seasons of Canada Drag Race in particular, they've been doing top fours to top two. Who do you expect to be the top two, Jack? And who is your overall winner pick? I think I have an idea, but what's your predictions going?
I've been rooting for her since day one, and I know I kind of thought that she was going to be a girl who maybe got uh, set off to the side that I didn't really care about. But she has done so well this whole time, and I can't be more proud and happy for Helena. Currently, she is my number one pick to win this season. I think she really has shown us everything and more. Like she's a great performer. She can do anything in the design challenges. She can do comedy. She does she's just so genuine. I feel just like this great connection with her, and she's like fucking pretty as hell with all of her makeup, and she has a brand, bitch. She has the brand. She's the total package in my mind. Um, and I don't want to discount any of the other queens just because she's my favorite of the season, but I also would say my runner-up pick, or my pick who I think should also make the top two, I think is Minnie. I think Minnie has come out the gates um, really. I think at the first we were like, it might be a little rocky for her. We're not really sure how this is going to go. We haven't really seen many queens who have been on the pit crew, for example, transition to a drag queen moment, and she's not even like a full-time drag queen either, so it was like we weren't sure what to expect, but she's really excelled through almost every single challenge as well. I mean, she had her one down time where like it never really got focused on, like her performing not as strong as a lot of the other girls, but outside of that, she's done amazing in the challenges. She has two wins. She's never been in the bottom. She technically has the best track record of all the girls. um and as much as I think Virgo has been such a front runner most of this competition, I just think these last couple challenges, she kind of like slipped up, and she said it herself. She wanted to really perform and like really excel every single time and wanted to show up for every single challenge. And I know that she's got to be a big fan fave because like she's just been doing amazing. I just think that after the last two challenges and this one was her kind of her bounce back, but again, since she didn't secure the win, I'm kind of like, um, it's in this weird spot, you know, two wins, two bottoms. Like, where do we go from there? Like, she's done extremely well this season. She's tied for the most wins. She's also tied for the most bottoms. So eh, it's hard to say, but I think that unfortunately means that the only person I can't see in the top two is Michaela for certain.
For certain. Just curious.
Yeah.
Why for certain?
Oh, why for certain? I just think she's done a lot. She's shown a lot of growth since we last saw her. I think she has a lot of confidence. I really want to say nothing bad about Michaela. It's just I think right now is not her time. You know when the queens are up there on that stage and the host or RuPaul says like, "I'm sorry, my dear, this is just not your time." I just don't think she's there yet. I don't think she's like fully formed. I would love to see her come back in a couple of years. Like, I think she's really got everything it takes. I think there's a little bit of roughness around the edges when it comes to a few of her skills when it applies to Drag Race. Um, and I think that she's got everything it takes. She just needs a little bit more time to really focus on and figure out what it is. Like she's done such a great job and she's an amazing performer. There's just a few times where it's like she has questioned herself, she hasn't been sure of herself, she's been very unaware or very unsure of what to do next. Especially like Snatch Game and the design challenges. I think we saw well not design challenges, it's just design challenges. She did good in the last design challenge. But there were just some moments where I think she did not deliver as much as she would want have to for herself. And I think that overall, when we're looking at the full run of the season, yes, she has been a great queen. She's done amazingly well. I don't see her as a top two pick this season. I think she's great. I think she's earned her spot. But again, I just don't see the top two. I don't think she's done like fully cooking and getting it together. I see the other three as more put together, as more understanding of who they are and what their drag is. As opposed to Michaela, I think she's still somewhat finding herself. And that's not a bad thing about her. Again, she's extremely young too, so like she's got time. And it's impressive that she's done so much at such a young age.
I'd agree with you. Um, I'm having a very, I mean, like to your points, like I definitely agree with pretty much everything you said for the most part as far as track record goes. But for some reason, for me, and I've been feeling this for a very long time, ever since like Snatch Game, for example, right? Like we have winners to challenges, but it's like nobody at any point in time in this cast for me has really gone like above and beyond and really put their stamp on any challenge really this season to the point where I could say like, oh, that person dominated this like challenge outside of like maybe like honestly the performance challenges. So I'm having a very hard time feeling one way or another about this group because yes, Helena and Minnie do have the best track record. I do fully expect one of the two of them probably to get to the top two just based on the fact that, you know, I mean, they're deserving of that spot at that point. Um, but like, is bad is like, or I wouldn't say is bad. I'd say is maybe is weak as some of the, you know, if they had some high peaks in the performance challenges. Michaela and Virgo definitely bombed some of the more comedy challenges. But I do think that they've had moments where like they were able to kind of bounce back from that. For example, in the lip syncs and whatnot. Like I said, Michaela and definitely Virgo too gave some of the best lip syncs this season. They had the best performance challenge, episode one. The final challenge is a performance challenge. I don't think anybody really had, even if we are looking at like track records on paper, like I don't think anybody has had a performance for me that makes me feel that one of these four is stronger than the others. And it's honestly for me the closest top four I think we've ever had in a lot of ways. Like I am having a very hard time really like narrowing down who I think is the true winner in this group. And I do think this could possibly be really one of the first times that we really go into a finale and the final whatever is determined on this last challenge. Because for me, Helena and Minnie, yes, they do have the best track record up to this point. Especially for Minnie, though, here, this point applies, is that I need her to come through in this performance challenge. Because if Minnie sucks in this performance challenge, she shouldn't be in the top two. Like, if she can't lip sync at all, oh, no. And I would say honestly the same thing for Helena because even though we've kind of seen Helena do the here
So
good
Helena
here and there,
performed.
well, she hasn't had. I don't think she's had really that moment. I can't really remember her episode one, to be honest. Um, and that's probably more on me than it is on her. I can't. I mean, in the girl group challenge, she was in the bottom because of Uma and the sabotage. And then in the lip sync challenge, she did well, but it was to like a more old school song. We haven't seen something a little bit more current, contemporary. So we haven't really seen that side out of Helena either. So I'm not saying that none of them are deserving of it or aren't deserving of it. I honestly I'm just having a hard time really saying definitively for me who is the winner because for a long time it's kind of felt like Virgo's season, and if I was to just go kind of based off of editing, I think Virgo is gonna win. I don't know why, but like this last episode, especially the fact that she was able to finally really give her story, it felt like a way like they kind of were justifying like Nymphia at the very end of season 16, where they're like, oh, let's give her a whole bunch of backstory so she's super sympathetic for the finale. That's kind of the same kind of edit I got from Virgo. So if I'm going based off of editing, Virgo. If I'm going based off of my personal opinion, who I think I would want to win the most, honestly, I think it'd be Michaela, but she's also has the weakest track record. So I would kind of be like, okay, Michaela would have to come into this final performance, cure cancer, maybe world hunger in this performance, and also redesign a better outfit for Brooklyn. If she's able to do all those things, take that crown, Michaela. But otherwise, I think Virgo might be my winner pick here. Um, like I said, I'm having a very hard time really like seeing where like if we're gonna use like a sports analogy or whatever, like the horses, whatever on the track, like none of them are separating from me. They're just kind of all running the same, and there's maybe a few spaces here and there. And you're free to disagree with me on that, but I'm just like I don't feel like anybody has really just blew my mind out this season. But I also really like everybody as well here too. So it's just a very weird Final Four for me overall.
I can understand why you don't think anyone is like too far gone from the pack or anyone could come back in. I think for me personally, um, I feel like Michaela's too far gone. Like even if she does an amazing performance challenge, I don't think that Helena is going to do bad on the performance challenge. I don't think Virgo's going to do bad on the performance challenge. I know that Minnie isn't the strongest performer per se, so maybe that could keep her out of the top two. But I don't see a world where we get like Virgo and Michaela both in there, even if they have both like really good performance challenges. I don't see a world in which Helena and Minnie don't end up at least one of them in the top two. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like of these two, if we look at the track records, these two are on top. These two would be considered third and fourth, I guess, by track record. But again, it's not always about track record. And if we're looking at it, I don't see a way in which Michaela is going to end up in the top two unless everyone else bombs the performance challenge.
Well, let me
I
just
do
echo
think
some of your words from your new favorite season, France 3, and your new favorite winner who never even won a challenge going into the end. You make it to the finale, you could possibly win.
you could. You could. That is very true. I did say that. That's completely 100% true. I do think also, though, there is a bit more to be said about someone's performance overall. And I think there's something to be said about the format. that maybe changes these things because unless they plan on doing an Espana 4 where we randomly get a grand finale into a grand finale, uh, I think we are
Imagine
going to get right. Imagine each of
Canada's
them are
first
doing their
live
own.
finale.
Oh God, I think we're getting these simple top four to top two on the main stage right then and there, as opposed to a top four to a top three at the grand finale, a top three to a top two. So I think that since we're probably going to get the top four to the top two like we have before, and all of them are doing their own song coming up, I believe, in this next performance challenge, I
Yeah.
think that it's very likely we we end up getting the top two, and I do think track record will come into play. And I'm not saying that track record always should be the final determiner, but I do believe severely in that your track record should matter. It always should be at least somewhat determining, and I just don't think that Michaela has had a strong enough track record personally to allow her in there. As far as editing goes, I could honestly see a combination of any of the other three in there. I think they've all had really good edits. I think Virgo was definitely our front runner from the beginning of the season. I think a lot has shaken up since then, and I'm interested to see how this will end. I think if Virgo makes it to the top two, I think she will win the season. Um, just based on, I think she is the best performer of the four left in the competition. Um, but again, anything is possible. We've seen some crazy upsets and some crazy songs at times, so anything is possible. Like you said, we haven't seen some of the other girls perform as much. We saw Minnie's performance in the lip sync challenge that was kind of rough. No, it was extremely rough, actually. Never mind.
Was very
Let me
rough.
not lie. It was very rough. We saw Helena really give us something that we never expected. I think she's done an amazing job in the girl groups. She was easily, for me, top of her team in the girl group challenge. She just unfortunately had a partner who could not keep up in the choreography, which really sabotaged her and ruined her chances. Um, and so, given that in mind, I see a really good world where Helena makes it to the top two. If we're going off track record, we would say that Minnie automatically makes it to the top two. But again, I don't know how that works. I don't know if they'll really care about the track record as much at that point, since it is a performance challenge, like you mentioned.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna see. Like, honestly, I'm very intrigued. I've been very into the season the whole entire time. I know a lot of people have maybe been on this cast in general as, like maybe they're not maybe the strongest cast overall. Like they're not necessarily like bringing plastic terror level runway packages to the runways or whatnot. But I've been very entertained by this cast and this group this season, and I am very will be happy for honestly any of these four that wins. I could honestly see a case, like I said, for any of the four to win. So whichever one ultimately gets the crown. I think will be deserving, and I'll be very happy for them. And more than likely, they'll be on my list of people to go see at DragCon, which I will hopefully go to attendance this year and remember that I want to see that. Do you have any final thoughts before we move on to go down below to the United States here for our episode of Drag Race here, Jack?
Um, Only last thought is, girls from US, please fix the runways and look at Canada's season 5 Statuesque runway as a reminder of what runways are supposed to be. And go Helena.
Well, Michaela. Okay, anyway, um, let's go ahead and let's talk about this second part of the season 17 premiere because I was enjoying this premiere so much. I really was. I was having such a good time. And then, like, the last 5 minutes happened, and I'm really struggling right now for it to not ruin the entirety of my viewing experience and how I'm going to be viewing the season moving forward. So that's why I want to talk about everything else before that, and then we go and rant about this twist at the end of it.
Oh,
Because
good. That's good.
um, I kind of felt like things were kind of off to begin with. I didn't watch in other side note here is I don't really watch like the previews that they have, like the 5 minute previews or set for 7 minutes of the episode. I would rather just watch it when the whole episode starts. Like don't give me like taste. Like I just give me the whole damn thing. So I didn't know that this whole like fake traders, like not traders thing, but also I don't get the whole point of Lawrence Chaney being there. Like I don't mind Lawrence Chaney being there. Don't get me wrong. I love Lawrence Chaney. I was just very confused by just the whole edit of the episode just felt kind of off to me. And maybe I was just because I was intuitively having feelings about how the end of this episode was going to go, so I was just not vibing with something about it. So I was confused why Lawrence Chaney was there. I was happy to see him, but confused why he needed to be there to talk about is it cake or is it cock. Um, but I also don't know why they're having all like the random pulp culture references if they're not gonna actually like do anything with it. Like I was kind of hoping maybe they were gonna do like a some sort of like mini challenge with it or whatnot, but they're just kind of like mentioning random shows now here and there to like I don't know. I'm confused what they're doing here right now with all of like their production decisions here. Did you like the kind of theme the is it cake or cock?
I did like the traders thing. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a great nod to a show that has now been featuring a few of our drag queens from Drag Race, and I think that's great because you know, it maybe inspires people to go watch these shows and go support the queens in their other endeavors outside of Drag Race. As far as is it cake or is it caulk? I thought it was a funny little gag moment. Um, but when Lauren Chaney said she got haggis on the stove, I was like, "Girl, you would see me running for the hills. I do not like haggis. I was scared."
Girl, like I don't get why they didn't bring her for something like you're gonna bring Lawrence Chaney back of all people. Like give her some substance, give her something to do. Let her like talk about
That
Snatch
was
Game or
fun.
something, you know? Like have her like come into the workroom and give some critique or some life advice or some shit, you know? Like I was just very underwhelmed by like this whole random appearance here. But there is apparently talk now. I've been kind of hearing here and there that people are like, oh well, maybe they're introducing Lawrence here because they're planning on doing all winners too at some point. I could see that happening. We have enough winners that they could do
Possibility.
another. They could possibly do that, but
Yeah.
you know, it,
And other seasons too. We don't have to just do UK. We can bring back Canada winners. We can bring back, down under winners. I would like to open up to others, but again, I don't want that issue of English barrier being a real big issue for a lot of our international queens. So it's gonna have to be pick and choose depending on who has the I guess linguistics or whatever it's called. I don't want a language barrier preventing a queen from winning because that's no fun.
I just don't want a global all star situation happening again. So I'm almost just kind of like, nah. I am.
Unless we get Alyssa Edwards as a winner again, then I'll be
Yeah.
fine. Bring her back.
I mean, at this point, she would qualify, so you never know. Well,
If that were me, I would turn it down. I'd be like, "No, I'm a global winner, baby. I beat all of you. Sorry."
I don't need this. I'm already in the global pantheon, wherever that is. Maybe it's in space. Who knows?
I think they
Um,
said it was in
Fort
Tallahassee,
Lauderdale or
Florida, or
something.
something. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Why? I know I'm
Daytona
not planning on going to
Beach.
Florida. I have no desire to go to Florida, so at least not in this political climate.
The
But
world
you
knows.
know, I do have to kind of laugh though because I felt like the this week we were or last week we were kind of talking about whether or not it was probably like a good idea for them to go like first week or the second week, as you know, like they're doing the talent show again. Raya Queen's back, and so now the queens that performed week one are sitting out and getting to watch the girls who are now performing that got to rate them last week. So now we're kind of seeing where I kind of feel like maybe the negatives are for the girls that decided to wait a week going here. Because while they were kind of cute and like the untucked and whatnot last episode and kind of like playing out their power and whatnot, I'm like group two took that energy and took it and made it the entire episode because all these girls were plotting, scheming, and making jokes about how they are going to be rating all these girls at this point. And then you got girls like Corey King running around like making fake relationships with Lydia or trying to get some with Lydia. I don't know. Um,
Both.
like it was, yeah, it was just, I thought it was hilarious. And the other thing that I thought was pretty funny about this episode as well too is Acacia, who now is kind of on the hunt for who she's going to rank to put in the bottom with her, so she could figure out who's her lip sync opponent is going to be. So I think that was a fun kind of story arc. We don't really get to see a lot on Drag Race to see the girls be a little bit more strategic, a little bit more underhanded, a little bit more trying to figure out. Uh, using their opponent's weaknesses against them. And it really led to, I think, a moment with Harmona Lisa where I think all these girls kind of officially hate her now. Where she basically told them that if they put her in the bottom, because as everyone knows here, like everybody in group two, bunch of kicking, slitting, bucking girls, as we kind of were talking about. Harmona is the only one that doesn't look like she could lip sync, so I get why everybody was kind of looking at her as like the easy prey. And she's trying to get out of it by saying, using this whole she was picked for Rue as like a reason why they need to keep her. Oh Lord, I did this not backfire against Harmona at all whatsoever. And, I love her for it. I love the audacity to say something like that. But I'm just like, girl, ooh, you are not getting far in this competition, are you? Because if they have to rate queens again, because spoiler, I think we saw them rate like multiple times in the episodes, in the preview. So they're definitely rating again, and I'm just like, oop, I would be scared to be Miss Harmona Lisa moving forward here. Like I don't know how far you could go with like in a cast where no one likes you. Um, so what were your thoughts here on all the craziness that kind of went down as they were preparing for this talent show here, Jack?
Again, this is where I call that like whole bullshit thing about like how girls are being fake and phony, and I loved it. I loved that Corey King specifically was the number one, like, I'm being fake and phony to your face right now. She told us last episode, she told us this episode, like, she's just trying to make sure that she doesn't get rated low, and I loved every second of it. I don't think the girls were that shady at all. I think they were saying one thing, but we're never going to do it. I don't think a lot of the girls in the first group had that kind of it takes a certain kind of bitch to really play strategically, and none of the girls in the first group are that. If we're being 100% honest, none of the girls have the gall, the audacity, to really do something like that. So I wasn't too concerned. Now, uh, Acacia, on the other hand, this is the one that was funniest. Is she said, "I'm gonna pick a girl who like trying to figure out who's the worst lip syncer. I can beat them." I thought she was the only girl that had like anything really to gain from that or anything to really want to do it. So I kind of saw her like actually kind of being strategic, but at the same time, when you're looking at the girls, you're like, well, there's only so many to choose from, and like you said, most of them are kicking and splitting and dipping, and so you looked over at who was left and you got Hormona Lisa. And then luckily for her, she didn't even have to convince other people, even though she had been like, hey girls, does everyone want to get rid of Hormona Lisa with me? Like, she didn't even have to do all that because when we actually got to the talent show, everyone was like, oh, oh. Because almost everyone did a great job in this talent show. I will say this talent show blew the first one out of the water, in my opinion. So sorry, girls. I think everyone was talented, but again, I just think this talent show was much better overall in comparison. I know that there's a couple different feelings about all that, but I think this one
Yeah.
was much better.
Um, Before we get on that, I just wanna bring up something I completely forgot here that just made me laugh here. Um, do we think that Acacia now isn't going to be able to get that song with Dolly Parton because she ranked harmoniously so low?
Well, if the preview for next episode is anything real, I guess we'll see. Um, I don't think that Harmona Lisa had that kind of pull, anyways. And I think Dolly's the kind of person that really looks at people, um, and she would make that decision. I don't think Hormona Lisa has any kind of pull to actually make. that happened, so I wouldn't have cared a damn thing what Hormona Lisa had to say about that. I will say I am a big fan of Hormona Lisa causing that drama though in the workroom and trying to act like she's one thing and like she's this picked by Rue kind of girl, like don't do it, don't do her dirty. Because to me, I'm just like, girl, bye, like get out of here. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't give a damn. And besides, at the end of the day, I my one vote probably wasn't gonna sway everyone to just automatically have like a great uh what's the word? A great like performance or a great moment on the show. I just think that we saw a lot of fairness, I would say, in most of the voting. I mean, you know, you had the little alliances here or there, Lana, Ariete, like great, love that. But I don't think it necessarily changed too much of the outcome of these votes. So
Okay, okay. Well, just to go back really quick. You did you say that this talent show was the best talent show, or this talent show tonight was better than part one?
better than part one. It's not the best talent show, I don't think. I do think that some of the girls did stronger than other girls, but I think overall, a lot of the girls in this group did better than the first week's challenge show. But I think that there's a couple things that were very oversaturated, over maybe not saturated is the word, maybe overstated or over
No, I think you were
applauded.
right with oversaturated. I think you were right there initially, honestly.
I
Um,
just think the first
I
talent show was missing some things specific.
well, the first, well, I would say in general, I think this talent show, I don't know, use air quotes for that, just because I'm like, this is, it's not a talent show, y'all. We need to, everybody's saying it, like, this is not a talent show if
Focusing.
everybody is just going to do original numbers, okay? And then the
They're
girls
doing a
that,
lip sync. How dare you?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's okay, I get it, but that's, like, lip syncing is what they do. Okay? Like the whole idea with talent show when we think of drag talent shows, right? Like it should be an original talent that is outside of what you usually do. Like that's where I want to kind of give like Acacia and Harmona props because they tried something that was outside the box. And it's like I feel like everybody else just kind of did pretty much the same thing for the most part, outside of maybe like Lydia, everybody literally just wrote a song and danced to it, and
Mm,
it's literally just actually, and I would say one other person, that we'll talk about tonight who gave my favorite performance of the whole entire thing. But I'm like, if you're gonna do the original or the talent show thing, like add something else to it. Like at least Anitra added some kung fu shit into it, you know, do something with it. I can even think of like three people like in UK versus the World too. Like Marina Summers, yeah, she just did a lip sync, but she also included the spinning weight things that she was doing. I forget what those things are called. I don't know what they're actually called, but she's twirling something with it too. You have Hannah Minaj doing the pommel horse in the middle of her lip sync. Like, there's just ways that you could include just something a little additional into it, just to make it not just let's just walk around and go Ella, Ella, Ella. You know, I'm just
oh my god, are you calling out a queen specifically?
not at all, not at all. I would never ever call out a queen specifically at all whatsoever, like she might have done to eight other queens during Untucked. Never would do that
Yeah.
at all whatsoever. Um, but I would look at the back of my wig before I walked out onto the runway. Um, Anyway, yeah, I would say in general, I think I might have actually enjoyed the first group's talent show a little better. But individually,
Really?
there was one person that I mean, I'll be very honest here. There's probably two of these performances that I will go back to. One of them on quite the regular, but only two of them really. I really enjoyed one of them that I was one other one that I also had fun with, but then I was kind of just whatever with the other four, honestly. Um, and we can talk about them if you'd like to. I can tell you which ones were my favorites. We can talk about them right now.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. Tell me.
so I'd say that my top three, if we were to say a top three, just based off of catchiness of songs, since that's part of it too. Um, Definitely, I think they were correct with Crystal Envy being in the top, even though she was not necessarily in my top two specifically. I actually really liked Anya Nerve and her country song. I thought it was by far the catchiest original song out of anybody's, without a doubt. She could have sold it a little bit more for me, with for sure. But I mean, compared to how some of the other girls were selling their songs and whatnot, like it was good enough for me there. And then, without a doubt, the best performance of the night, Lexi Love with the roller skating and her doing the 18 million splits at the end, and just the way that she was able to infuse her personality and comedy and sex appeal and athleticism, and it was just it's such a good best minute I've had all year, honestly, without a doubt, for sure. So if I was to say pick a top three, those would be my for sure.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think Lexi Love is guaranteed. If she's not your top one, she's your top two, and if she's not your top one, I think there's something wrong with you personally. But outside of Lexi, I have to really admit I loved Corey King's performance. I think she sold the bit. I think she did everything correct. I loved every minute of it. Yeah, was the outfit kind of basic or whatever? Sure, whatever. I don't really give a fuck. Like, I just really enjoyed it. Um, there's something that she has that Lexi also has. It's that it factor. Really, I know that I hate when people say that, but it's a talent that just really it sells itself. It's this charisma. It's something that makes you want more. And I think they both really sold that super hard. I think Crystal Envy did a good job. I know there were some mixed reviews on her, and some people were very confused as to why she was in the top. I also was a big fan of Sam Stars. I just think she was very what's the word? It was very branded. That's the word. It's very branded. She told us who she was. She performed. I don't think anything was bad about it. I just think it was maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but it was fun. Um, I think almost all the girls did good outside of the one.
Hmm.
I just think that Hormona Lisa was at least she tried something, but girl, we've seen a million girls try this. I don't think I would have done this without jokes. She didn't have jokes. Like, where were the jokes? They weren't. It started off kind of shaky, and it just got worse and more difficult to watch. And I was like, you have a minute to do some comedy. Just talk shit about someone. Trust me, it's funnier. Like, they didn't do anything. I was like, you got a whole reading challenge and a roast probably coming up this season. So unless you're really feeling witty and like you can do this no matter what, like I don't know, girl, I wasn't really feeling it. And she was giving us that slow, like southern thing that she does is very her brand, but it didn't work with the jokes because we were waiting like 14 minutes just for the punchline that never happened.
Yeah, she was taking it
So
too seriously, and it was like you have a minute, you got to be on it and quick and snappy with those jokes, and she was taking far too long to get to the punchlines whatsoever. Um,
definitely.
and just to circle back, I do think Corey and Sam were both really good. They were just the epitome of safe to me though. 'Cause it was just kind of like Corey. I will say she was very high energy, so I'd probably put her up there too. I could see her maybe switching her out with Anya here and there. I could go back and forth with her and Anya. But yeah, Sam was a little. If we're talking like she literally kind of just walked back and forth. She was selling the song with her face, yes, but literally nothing with her body. And then like it felt very stiff, extremely stiff. Like I
That's
was
fair, Keith.
like I'm posing her with like a Barbie. Like it just felt like yeah, like a doll is sitting there kind of doing it, and like she could only move one appendage at a time, kind of thing. And that's kind of what she was giving me there a little bit. Like I would say I don't know if Trinity the Tuck is necessarily known for her dancing. So that was kind of what it was giving me with Sam was just a little like, you know, white girl moving. and it was good. It was fine. Like I enjoyed it. Like I would never put any of these performances in the bottom, other than Harmona. Even
Right,
Lana,
right.
I would say Lana kind of. I would say though Lana actually, I was a little underwhelmed by Lana. I was expecting a lot more out of her, and I think her song was flat, and performance it was fine. But it felt predictable. You know, it felt like things that we've kind of seen, and I didn't feel the connection with the performance really. So that made me a little worried for Lana a little bit that we may be putting her on a pedestal that I don't know if she is necessarily deserving of. So I'm a little worried about Lana now, but yeah. Otherwise, I would say she would still kind of be better than three, four, yeah, at least four of the other people in the other group. So, um, yeah, I think the results were right. I was vibing with everything here. I think that the Crystal Lexi top two was correct personally. Um, like as much as people maybe did agree with Crystal, because I think at that point, really outside of Lexi, like Crystal, Anya, Corey, even Sam could probably be intermixed just kind of based off of like probably it probably comes down to just your personal taste, really, you know? Because, like I said, it seems like we had outside of Lexi, we were kind of all vibing with somebody different for the most part, and really kind of came down to just our personal taste when it came to performances. So, really, the second spot could have gone to anybody. As long as Lexi won the cash prize at the end, which she did, and I was fine. Which this lip sync, oh my god. I'm glad they actually stuck Crystal in this top two. Because can you imagine if we had like Sam doing her doll dancing across the stage to this
Oh
song?
no, please don't make me think about it.
Like I was like, Crystal, oh my god, like the energy she performs with is insane. Like I don't necessarily like see like dancing in a lot of things she's doing 100% per se like when she did like the backwards somersault and stuff like that. It's a little messy. It's a little just kind of like going crazy, but like it's still energy that I could watch and I'm still fine with it. But Lexi, oh my god, she gave me the attitude. She sold this song. This song is fire all the way. This Dochi song, oh my god, this will be on my playlist all 2025. Um,
All
did we
to
start
go.
the? Did we start this year with the lip sync of the year, Jack? So I really enjoyed this performance too. But we had some great lip syncs. At least to start this episode in Canada this week. Did you like that? Did you like this lip sync here? Am I building it up too much here?
Uh, I mean, no, I don't think you are. Except for the fact that we have the other lips to talk about, but we don't have to.
Oh well, that's why I said at least to start us off here, because then I totally remembered that other lip sync had happened this episode. Because
Let's
I
go
didn't
with
want to
that.
get there just yet. I didn't want to get there just yet. I didn't want to take away any of Lexi Love's love here, really, because she is, I think, at this point, my winner pick without a doubt.
Oh, for sure, easy.
I really like Corey's personality. Like she's selling me the personality. But Lexi, I think is that girl officially. I think we are officially becoming a Lexi Love Stan podcast moving forward. At least
Yep, yep. You
moving forward
can
here.
tell
So
everyone on that. You can
okay,
100% tell everyone on that.
okay. So just so y'all know, in the comments for those videos, I don't want to hear anything, nothing about how we are ranking Lexi low or not, because clearly we love the bitch. Okay. Anyway. Uh, I do want to go ahead and yeah, I guess we do have to talk about the second half because honestly, you know, like this would have been a great way to just end it all. We didn't even need to have what was about to happen at this next point here, right? Like they could have just
Mm,
gone into this and just been like, hey guys, it's a you know nobody's going home. You get to show your talents, and then the eliminations start next week.
yeah,
But no,
yep, yep.
let's build it up. Like there's going to be an actual elimination at the end of this episode, so everything with this twist that they're doing actually matters, which I would have loved for this to actually matter because all the strategizing that we just saw all episode, all the things that these queens were doing to position themselves. Granted, it wasn't very much, but up to this point, I mean, everything that Corey was doing to save herself, you know, didn't mean shit, didn't mean nothing, because not only do Acacia and Harmona disgrace us, or disgrace Ariana Grande, I should say, in her poor song, Yes and, which with one of the worst
Ugh,
lip syncs ever. Um,
God damn.
like that was bad. That was so bad. That was so bad. So bad. Like even when she popped out the makeup
I
brush, I was like, okay. I mean, something happened. Like, thank you for doing something, but I'm just like, ugh, they could have literally sent them both home, and I would have been fine.
I don't think it was as bad as you're saying. I think it was really bad on Hormone Elise's
It was
part, but
boring. Like there was
you're right. It wasn't like
like
the most like over the
I,
top. Like
I get Ariana Grande though. She's very like elevator music, so there's only so much energy you can really bring to it. But still, like you could
I
you could bring any kind of energy to it. Like I don't know. I wasn't. But I
but
mean,
yes, and
I mean, I would say no. Please no, no more. Because we are all thinking now at this point, right, that Harmona's going home, and then
I mean no, I knew from the get we were
well,
gonna get a stunt.
did we know that it was coming though? Because I don't know if they
Yes,
previewed the
yes we
stunt
did.
tank in the next episode. I don't remember if they did. I just didn't watch the next time on.
The preview of the whole season showed us
Oh
the
well,
stunt from the
I
get.
thought it was gonna be like well, we didn't know it was going to be a weekly twist though. They didn't
Oh
preface
girl,
it as
it
that.
was pretty much a given. They were like, whoever does the the Badonka Dunk, and I was like, oh, here we go. And so
Yeah,
it
but
was
they
like pretty much a
also didn't
given the
say
first
like
time.
what it was. Like
I mean,
there was
context clues,
no
girl.
girl. There's no like we were literally talking about it on our podcast the first time. There was absolutely no way of knowing like that they were literally just going to bring back the chocolate bar twist, but do it twice. Like there was no indication that this twist was going to be some random bullshit production rigged ass buffoonery that which
That's
I'm
how it always is, though.
like I mean I'm fine. We're fine with a production twist. Like can we just again go back? And then this is something we were talking about on the Discord. Can we just go back to season 3 or season 4 when it was like, hey y'all, Michelle was pissed off at me because I eliminated who's one of the girls
Carmen
that she eliminated?
Carrera.
Yeah, Carmen Carrera. Let's let the judges bring her back. You know what I mean? Like let's just be straight up about it. Like why do we have to go through all these theatrics, through all these stunts, through all of these things that it's very clearly like we know that like these levers are not rigged to an actual contraption to, let someone stay in this
What?
competition.
They're
Like
not?
I'm sorry to blow your mind
Huh.
here, Jack. We learned what a bust was today, and you also learned that it's not actually rigged to the thing here. It was just very clear. I mean, obviously, the first time Michelle does this, like they're not gonna let her get all like dressed up and done up to not drop her. So like when they said it was gonna happen twice, I was like, oh, y'all. Well, clearly the first time is gonna happen tonight, and it did.
Right.
So like, it's just like there was just so much pointlessness to all of it. Like, do you realize how much time that we're wasting here that we could have literally just gone and gotten to know more about the queens? you know? Like we could have devoted a little bit more time to these ugly looks on the runway. There's we could have
We
seen
don't have any
more
of that.
of this yes and lip sync. Like there
Oh,
was
no. We didn't need
we
that either.
Lawrence Chaney could have talked a little bit longer. Um,
I'll take that.
like there's so much that could have actually happened in this process that now we're gonna have to sit here at the end of every episode and oh my god, they're gonna get the lever. Oh my god. Oh Oh, oh, nope. No lever. And at least this, and there's not even going to be something meme worthy about, like, at least like last time with the chocolate bar, it'd be like, oh, it's
It's
chocolate.
chocolate.
Like, there's not, like, what are they going to do with this one? And somebody's going to have to touch that lever that Harmona licked. Like, that's
That was
gross.
disgusting. I was gonna throw her out of the competition before that, but then when she did that, I was like, throw her out now, please. Like, throw her out.
Ugh, it's just,
Ugh.
it, uh, Jackie, are you as
Let's
annoyed as I
talk
am?
about
Because
it.
I'm
I mean, I'm
fun with a
annoyed that
stunt,
they
but
did
it's
this twist, and it just we knew it was going to happen, and we kind of knew. I'm Here's the one thing that's good about this. Even though I wasn't caring if Ramona Lisa went home, I like that the girls. I say this a lot. I like when girls get at least two challenges and not just one. So I love that people are giving a second chance, and I especially love when we don't eliminate people on a talent show because it's very biased. This one, not so much. But you know, I love that the girls are getting a second chance to really impress us. Is it unfortunate that someone else may become the first queen to go home this season? Yeah, yeah, it is. But at least you're not the second. I mean, because as we know, in most times, the second girl that goes home generally gets forgot about more than the first.
unless you're
Um,
Mirage.
right, unless you're Mirage. I mean, spoiler alert though, Hershey also kind of unfortunately has the fact that she is a black queen working against her. As we know, the fandom is not always the most accepting and or loving of our queens of color. So womp womp womp, right? I think we all
Yeah.
we all saw that one coming. But um you know, everyone gets another chance. That's a good thing. Everyone has kind of shown up, shown out what they do. We have an understanding of who people are. So that's the one good news. The bad news is now we have a 1 in 9 chance of you pulling the lever, quote unquote, maybe. But really, you're right. It's not hooked up to nothing. We know that it's just going to be a rig of whoever they want to keep, which could be fine. But again, if we get that Bosco in the bottom 14 times thing, it's going to be annoying. So I guess we'll have to see how it goes. I kind of agree with you. I kind of wish the girls had lip sync for their right to be in the competition or something, and then decided if they were going to do this trick right now. But I think it made most sense for them to just show us this immediately and go from there.
Just don't
Now,
see what the
that
whole
being
point of
said,
like having the whole Rada Queen system, unless the whole idea is for them to like just get drama going and whatnot with the girls.
it is because we're seeing
Like
next week
what?
they're showing us.
There's no point in like just doing any of it. There was just there. Okay, there's I feel like there's just ways that you could manufacture twists that one aren't at like the expense of like the audience's intelligence, you know, and then
It
and
was
two
lacking from the
just
get, baby.
yeah, I'm just I don't know. I'm like just at this point, what's the difference between this and them just telling a girl that Chante you also stay like in a lip sync? Like it's
Well,
literally the
because
same
someone
thing,
had to
other
actually do good in
than
a lip sync for that, and
I
that
mean
didn't happen this episode.
they're gonna do that anyway. So, but it's just like there's no way they're gonna. You're telling me that like they're really going to not use this on a front runner. Like a front runner
Oh,
is definitely going
100%
to
they're
get
going
this
to.
100%. So, like there could
1000%.
be there might be a little bit more like I've heard the criticism, but maybe the judging might be a little bit more fair because they might not be afraid to you know put certain people in the bottom because they won't lose them necessarily if they use this. But I mean, it's just going to go back to the same thing once the twist is gone. So it's like, I don't know.
The
I'm,
only the only positive here is the fact that we do have a season 14 possibility of we still get a double Shantae and the chocolate bar reveal kind of thing. I don't know
and
that
then
it
we end
will
up with a
happen.
double elimination, and then no elimination at the top five.
Well, let's not do that whole bullshit again, but I'm just saying that like there's the possibility of us still getting a very good season. I'm not ruling the season out yet just because of one interestingly done twist. But I think what's great about this is lying to the queens in a way and like saying, "Yep, you're gonna lip sync for your life," and they technically were lip syncing for their life. They didn't know that was going to happen, so it created that drama. And now we've got the so fun thing of like what everyone begged for last year was like release the results, show everyone what they did if they did something dirty, because now the girls are going to see the girls like rankings to see if they did them dirty,
Yeah, but
and I
will
think
they
that's
have
really
any
fun.
sort of effect to, unless they get to rate again and the rating actually has purpose,
Didn't
then
you say there was
there's,
a rate again?
I do believe there is, but that rating better actually have purpose. Then okay, this is all for something. Okay, then I'll take it. But I'm like, if you're just doing all this just for whatever craziness that you're deciding to do for this week, just because like it's giving me like mid mid teens Big Brother, where like they would start with a concept one episode and then like the next episode they would jump to like, oh, that twist didn't work, so let's in 2 weeks we'll adopt another twist for like it that just didn't have any sort of like cohesion to it. And I'm just like I'm struggling to find where the cohesiveness is between like the squirrel games and the dunking tanks and whatnot. But like I'll still have fun. I'll it's episode 2. It's still early. You're right. There's no reason to completely rule out the season just yet. Um, I would say though, after looking at this runway though, I would almost be ready to cancel the season because
I mean, one bad. You know what the worst part about this? Let me before we get into it, let me preface this. This is a good category.
it's a
That
great
is what is
category.
upsetting.
That's exactly
That's the
exactly.
biggest issue here. It's a great category, and it just wasn't done well in most of our opinions. I don't even think ours alone were the ones that were like, this is not great. I think it was really everyone kind of felt like we were missing something here. And we can get into it, but again, if it had been a weird category that just didn't work, it'd be one thing, but it was a great category that just went south for a lot of girls. We can get into it though. Let's not
And you
dance
could
around
also
it.
like
Is it
pair
good?
it with like this season as well, or I would say with the results of this episode too. I think that's why it's maybe just everything is just kind of there's a taste in my mouth. It's bad and it's not cake. That's I think that's all I'll
Is it
say for
salty?
that. A little bit. It's a little salty. A little bitter.
Yeah,
A little bitter.
he's used to
So
that taste.
it's okay though. It's okay though. I mean, like I said, this is like one of those situations though. As much as I will sit here and complain and whatnot, um, just like Survivor, I would say, in that even terrible Drag Race is still better than most other TV. Well, actually, that's not true. Thailand 3 was pretty unwatchable. But yeah, like I would say, like I still would take a C plus season of Drag Race over watching some other shows. But like knowing what it can be and seeing kind of the result and what we get, I feel like I could say something. I feel like I could judge, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, we could talk about this. Is this cake runway here? Um, I do think for me, there's a clear top four. I think we kind of talked about this, and I think we agreed on the top four. We have
Yeah.
Ariete, Lana Ray, Lexi Love, and Sam Star. I almost want to call her Sam Smith. Sam Star. Still have not got these names down yet. But easily,
Yeah.
without a doubt, the four that I think did the best as far as like not only just kind of like I would say a lot of these looks are very predictable in a lot of ways, but like you don't have to think that far outside the box for these runways. Um, some of the girls that just had outside the box for runways literally did the same exact look. So
Well, I want to start off by saying something really interesting that happened to me was Sam Star was like the first one I think came out on the runway, and I was with my friends watching, of course, like I do every Friday, and some of them were groaning. They were like, "Oh, this is so boring. This is so lame. Like this is whatever. And I was like, I don't know, girls, this might be like really good though. Like I thought it was well done, blah blah blah. Like we can get more into it later, but after the rest of them, I was like, so do you all still feel the same way? Like,
We get into it
because
now
I
because
know
she's one of our tops. Yeah, it's but I'd
I
say
was
I would
like,
say I kind of
"Ooh."
felt the same way though, because like initially
Me too.
walking out,
I loved it.
I mean I really liked it, but initially I think maybe my like I said, I was watching this like just I think you just always expect the first look coming out to always just be plastique. So it's not to say you're underwhelmed, but you haven't really had anything else to compare it to, you know? So it's just
Hmm.
like was it kind of what I was expecting? Yes. But the way that she did it, and after watching the episode again and re-looking at the garment again, I really loved every single detail that she did with it. The fact that you could literally
Love the
see
details.
the cake. Like, literally, she literally did the runway. She was literally cake, and she showed cakes. And I'm like, this is just. I think it came out first because it's like Rue was like, okay, this is what I was expecting this runway to be. And now everybody else, you can kind of judge after. And I'm like, okay. Like, it made sense rewatching it back again because I really liked Sam's take on it. And it was just simple, but again, the details were really good. And
Yeah.
yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and I have to commend how it went from wedding dress to the cake, and again the details, the shoes, the hair, everything kind of felt right. I felt her brand. I knew who she was. It gave me very Southern Belle goes to the thing. Like it's very traditional. And I was like, I think we both kind of had that feeling of like, this is kind of a standard, right? This was kind of what the bar was set at, is what you were getting at.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think I agreed with you there, where I was like, I think this is the standard. I think this is very well done. I think it's polished. Again, there is there's a lot of um again details, especially when she turned around and we actually saw the cake. It could have easily just been flat and or the exact same on that side, but I love that it was changed and it was well made. And that is the best part of a runway, is when we can find all these great things we like about it. um and so from there the runways get a little interesting, shall we say.
We can keep talking about the rest of the tops though, because again, I think we both agreed that Lana was also someone that was in our top four as well. I
Oh
liked her
yeah,
take
Lana
on
did
it with
great.
her actual cakes. I just wish, and I know this is going to be a thing that Lana does. Say I love
I
the
know what you're gonna
dress.
say. Go
Yeah,
for
I
it.
love the dress. I love the fact that she's obviously showing real body, but I'm like, this was like the one opportunity you had to be like, actually, like, go out there and like give us like cakes, because let's be real, Lana is going to give us boy body in every single one of these damn outfits. This is not like some rare opportunity, Lana. Like, you have not padded once in any of these outfits yet. So like, don't come out here and say like, "Oh, this is my opportunity to show off my body." 'Cause it's like, girl, like, oh, yeah, that's all you've been doing.
Okay. You are 100% right. I do love this color on her. I do love the pattern. I love the little reveal of the ribbons going up the arms and on the back. It's very cohesive. It's right. The something I really loved is she's showing off her chest and her shoulders and her upper back and the rest of her backside when we finally see it. And her hair is fully up and not taking away from this moment. So I think one thing I just want to commend that on is those little details really do matter and make the look better. Um, I agreed. She could have given us more ass, but if you're gonna do something somewhat simple yet effective like this is so good. This is a great way to do it. I agree with you. I'm worried for her not giving us much body, but I will give her the chance. The only thing I was kind of confused about was the waist from the corset was a little interesting, but I liked it. I liked the look a lot. I thought it was fun. Again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, baby. You can make a stunning look just like this. I think moving on though, I think we gotta talk about it. Lexi Love. What a week for Miss Lexi Love.
Yes.
This is such an interesting outfit. I wanna say someone mentioned that last week she did the astronaut award. Now she is the TV. This cool faceplate I know we saw. I believe was it who was it? Was it Lazy Susan did this on
Hmm.
Down Under?
Oh my god, I
So
love that look.
I was like trend alert, like Um, yeah, there were cakes in the back. They weren't very big, and they could have been bigger. But I really love this outfit. This outfit was pretty much everything. It really gave us a view of who she is, her fashion. Just, I think it was really smart. I think it was really entertaining because this is one of those things that on this runway you can do so many different things as long as you're still meeting the brief. And I think she did. And I just think she looks phenomenal. And it really stood out from the crowd for me. And yes, the cakes aren't that big, but neither were Lana's, so who are we to say cakes can't be cakes?
I really, really liked Lexi's, honestly, and it just it was just the full package. You could tell that Lexi came to compete. You could tell that she
Hmm.
definitely took out a second mortgage on her house, because she has come out with some amazing, stunning looks here. And I'm glad that it's going to be a situation here where like she's not just doing it just to kind of like do it. Like she's clearly like full all in. Like this is season 17 will be my season, and
Yes,
this is showing it right here. Like I'm so excited to see what Lexi brings this season because I feel like she's going to be here for quite a long time. At least she better be. Um, another
she better be
queen.
at least top four.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Another queen that I'm so excited to see what they bring this season. She said she was a fashion queen. I think she's really bringing it up, especially with this look here, is Ariete. Oh my God, like I don't usually do fashion alien type deal stuff, but like,
Hmm.
oh my God, Ariete is just the way she's giving me the creativity of someone like Dawn, but with such a polish, and there's so much I so much to look at. It's so intricate. There's so many details. It you can clearly see that she has a mind that is made for making garments, and this is such a crazy, crazy look here. Um, Definitely top two with Lexi here. I'm going back and forth between two, which one is my favorite. Constantly, and I don't know when I'll make a decision, but eventually I might. Jack, what are your thoughts here?
Oh, oh my God! So I have to agree with you. Everyone, I think, knows this. If I haven't said it enough, I am not a alien queen kind of girly. I almost always say when a girl says, "Oh, I'm an alien queen," almost immediately I am turned off. Just don't want to know anything about it. I'm like, girl, bye. Um, but this really was like Jetsons, Back to the Future meets actual futuristic. We've got like the silver aluminum foil kind of thing going on here, which well played up. It's like those old robot things that you would see in the older movies. People would make a cardboard box top, and then they would have that like silver. What is that? It's like I don't know, dryer duct kind of thing, for the arms, and that's kind of what it gives you. But it's like fashion, make it fashion, and it continues all throughout the whole outfit into the hair. I mean, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's monochrome. I mean, she's galactic, she's uh killing it. I love this. I think that a lot of people diss hair like this when it's got the stoned inside of the hair because we've seen it a lot, but this works with the outfit. It even has the same shape. I tens, tens, tens across the board, baby. Definitely deserving a spot in our top four this week, in our top two easily. Um, and I'm so excited. And I wanna keep going on a good level, but like I can't bring anything up that's going to top this. So let's go to the next. I think what we consider the next like one of the best next looks. Going from silver to crystal, we've got Crystal Envy. Very simple concept, very fun take on it. I know that you had to inform me as to what the product was. I knew it was something to do with with a suntan lotion or something, but I had no clue what it was actually. And when I go look at the ad because I needed the reference, it's perfectly spot on, of course, other than the abs. But I think that's what's so fun about Crystal is she made this into a really simple look. And I want to also mention it goes into the shoe. We'll get into that later because some girls don't understand the illusion of drag, clearly. Um, could it have been better done into her neck? Yes. Um, but the abs and the fun, like spray painting of the body all over, well done. Well done. Keeping with the bow theme, doing a little extra here, there for the drag element of this. I think I loved it. She was showing the cakes. What a fun look. What a fun, like, little thing to bring up. I think she definitely showed us. She's someone to watch on the runway as well. I mean, maybe it's not total glam, but it's not total camp either. It's kind of a fun mix.
Well, Jack, we're running a little long here, so I want to know out of the rest of these, because I'll be real, outside of Crystal, and I'd say probably, I think we said Lydia, maybe Harmona, maybe Anya, maybe Susie. Uh,
No,
every,
I won't give you that one.
I don't know. I think everybody else kind of struggled here. But who do you think was on the struggle bus the most this week?
I think we had Acacia. Um, she had a good element or two in her outfit, and then it was just the ass after that. And great ass, but again, not the drag. We had Joella looking a hot ass messa, and again, she's the one I was really talking about. The stockings, whatever, don't go all the way down into her shoes. It just cut off the effect. The Marie Antoinette thing is boring. It's basic. We've seen it a million times. And then she did the backwards. The opposite side was like BDSM and bloody handprints and stuff because of the whips and the cuts on her back. It wasn't very well done. I think the details were and just thrown on there. They weren't really thought about. Um, I think Lucky Stars. I get it. People sponge cake, sponge, but there was no cake in there really. It was just sponge, and it was poorly done. It was like put on top. The bubbles didn't even carry around the back, and it was just really messy. I think for someone who has so much potential, I just think this was felt very incomplete to me. And I have to mention Susie too. I think this was such a letdown because it was a decent concept and it was just so poorly executed. This like going from a Disney princess to an ass, a donkey kind of thing was a great idea, but the ears were boring. They weren't even Eeyore like. The outfit was meh after the princess thing, and honestly, her makeup didn't work with it. It just didn't. You can see the lip, it doesn't work. And I
I
just
do hate
think
that
that
tiny lip. I hate the tiny lip.
I don't care that it's your own thing, but if you're unwilling to at least make your look work and just plast it on there, you're not really knowing what you're doing, and it shows. And honestly, the look wasn't even that executed that well. I don't really remember anything great about it, and she had one of the better concepts too, and it was just done so poorly that I just had to throw it lower because I hated it more than I hated the ill-fitting nature of like Corey's or Jules.
Yeah,
Well,
I
all tea, all
mean,
shade.
I get that. I do understand that. I do think that the ill-fittingness actually kind of took me out of it for Jules and Corey for me, so I probably put those lower for me for that. I didn't have Lucky or CZ much higher though, but you know, I'm I definitely I think we held these girls to a very high standard on the runway here sometimes, and I'm going to still go into this being pretty optimistic because I feel like even some girls that have showed us, maybe not the greatest looks tonight have kind of showed us an okay look here or there. Other than Casey and Joella, they haven't really hit for me at all, but. We'll see. Jack, final thought here. Who's your prediction to be the official first out, since it's clearly not going to be Harmona yet?
That's hard because I think Acacia has a better chance in the design challenge than some of the other girls might, which makes me a little nervous. But then we're talking about can you lip sync? And so for that alone, I have decided that I think Joella is our most likely to be first out girl.
Ooh,
How about you?
we decided it's a wait, it is a design challenge next week, right?
Yes.
Okay. While I am nervous here for Acacia, just because both of her outfits have been by far, actually all of her outfits I think have been my least favorite of the week here. Joella is giving me first boot energy like no other. So yeah, I think I'd agree with you there. So I mean, as much as I'm still gonna try to be optimistic. We're gonna be optimistic, y'all. Because you never know. This twist could actually end up being kind of fun. You never know. But we only have a few days to find out, and we'll be back this weekend, with another podcast here. And until then, y'all, and as always, I hope y'all can't wait to see how this turns out because y'all waited this long and listened to the whole podcast. So thank y'all for listening. It was what, almost 90 minutes of Drag Race talk tonight. It's a good one though. It's fun.
And just one
Um,
final thing
Oh,
must be
go for it,
said.
Jack. No, you need to have your final thoughts, Jack. Give your final
I need to have
thoughts.
this final moment. The Untucked this episode was so good. I love the girls starting to be real with each other. All of the cattiness, everyone getting like, who did the worst? Who sucked? Oh, girl, she's a mess. Can you believe that? And Joella's trying to read everyone down, and everyone's like, Joella, you are the worst out there. But I will give it to Joella for telling Harmona that she was going to be the bottom. That was funny as fuck. And
Hmm.
I think it was Cornbread who tweeted about this and how she was like, I'm not hating on Joella because I honestly think that like you need to believe that you were like the winner and you're killing it because you need to be there to compete. So at least she's there to compete, and I will give her that. She is bringing that energy. I agree 100%. She is. She's thinking she's killing the game, baby. And you know what? If nothing else, she is confident, even if it's to a fault. But I've got to say, I'm loving our girls being very shady, especially like we're seeing Corey, Anya, Lana, Lexi. I think Lexi's just, she was one of my favorites going into it, and then we saw her in the Untucked. It was so funny. I can't. I just too many good things to say. And Corey is like the other personality of the season right now. I can't wait to get more of this energy because I'm just telling you, next week they're gonna let the girls have it. I could just feel that like this design challenge, some of the girls are gonna be in their feelings for either being safe or being in the bottom, and some of these girls are going to let them know what it is because they're not worried about a Rita Queen no more.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I'm excited for that point alone because this season's got some fiery tempers and some people with some opinions.
Oh, you make a great point. This Untucked actually was fantastic. Both these two Untucked. I don't know if it's the new format, the fact that they're allowing them to be a little bit more like have the cameras go off into small little sections of the lounge, so that way they're not just constantly sitting just on the couch in front of everybody. The fact that they're able to go off in corners and you know talk shit and whatnot. Like I feel like that's really gonna help, especially that like shady camera or whatever they want to call it. Untucked seems like
Oh
it's going to
yeah.
be a lot of fun. I think they've made a lot of good changes to it, and this is the perfect cast. I feel like to try it out on. So yeah, you make a good point here. I'm glad that you brought that up here because they say you haven't seen the whole story if you haven't seen Untucked, and that wasn't the case since like season like maybe 6. Uh,
Well, I mean,
maybe
you're not
maybe
wrong.
15 had a or 13 had a good Untucked, but like season wasn't that great. But like yeah, overall it's we're the good and the bad. We'll take the good with the bad, and hopefully it'll be those things those minor things we complained about, it'll be, easy fix because I don't think it really would be anything questionable about necessarily the talent or the cast or the fun factor or whatnot. I think it really is just, maybe we just need to see some better looks on the runway.
I have
Well,
faith.
last note on that, by the way, as well too. Are you getting the thought that maybe they were given different prompts for this possible Is It Cake Runway? Because it's like so many girls came out with like one thing, and then like so many girls came out with like another thing, and I'm just kind of like, are they all being told the same thing?
I think they are, girl, because we got a multiple Marie Antoinette, and I was like, that's kind of lame.
If
So
we
I don't
never see
know.
another Marie Antoinette look ever again, um,
It's
that will
possible to do one well, but it's you got to really go all out for it at this
they
point.
need to wait until at least 2030 before we see another Marie Antoinette. Honestly, we need to wait a little bit, y'all. That's worldwide. Worldwide. Uh, well. Alrighty. Well, we can go on and we can end it here, y'all. Appreciate y'all again listening. And if you liked the podcast, make sure to like and subscribe for more future content because we'll definitely be having some stuff coming out over the next couple weeks. And until next time, y'all. And on behalf of my co-caster, Jack, this is Renegade signing out. But remember, keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye.
Bye.